right, thanks for coming in, guys. Thanks for tranquil, peaceful trading with Nick Cypher and Crypto Guy. Getting started here in about 2 minutes. Right on the hour, we'll get going. But thanks for popping in, Mr. Daniel. Motivation grows here. Mr. Arc Signal. Mr. Anthony. And Mr. Trap Sniper. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Justin Wilds, thanks for popping in, man. Crypto Coons, thanks for modding. My man Ricky Spanish in the chat. Everybody go follow Ricky. Getting started here in about 1 minute.
Ricky Spanish is a great name. It sounds like something your mob friend would call you when he can't remember your real name. Yeah, that Ricky Spanish. Come here.
Good one, man. So any of you guys who are newer to the channel or watching this later, that was my brother Crypto Guy OTI. So it's good to have you on the stream tonight, brethren. So I brought you on this week because nobody explains rate cuts better than you do. And honestly, I am a tard when it comes to understanding those things. I play dumb. I'm pretty smart, but you know, you're way better at explaining like actual news, whereas I prefer to talk about the VWAPs, man. So here we are on Bitcoin. Me, Nick Cypher, with my people in the chat. I love you guys. But what are we facing here, guys? We are facing a bearish weekly leap across cryptos, but in a 5-day uptrend environment. So on Bitcoin, for instance, here we are plunging right into the ascending 5MA. And it's tough to short this bottom. This is a tough bottom to short, even though the weekly leapfrog looks okay. I kind of got scared out of some short trades that I got in on Friday. I kind of had a feeling that there was going to be an early weekly leap. So on Pepe, for instance, I was on these small time frames, trying my best to catch this top here. I shorted, got stopped out like twice, and then finally caught a top. But I took profit at this low right here. And then I watched a day go forward, and then we did actually come down and get that weekly leapfrog. So I kind of got shaken out of my shorts, and we're at a point now where it's just not the best short entry. If I'm looking for a short entry back to last week's VWAP, it would actually be at these old highs. And since we're in a 5-day uptrend and we've got rate cuts coming, I believe that on the 17th, when those rate cuts, when this day happens, this is obviously going to be a major turning point. And like news days are some of the best trades. So depending on how we're looking on that day, there might be a very obvious trade. Therefore, I am not valuing any trades I enter today very highly. I think that there's a better opportunity later in the week, potentially once these highs are taken on Bitcoin after the rate cut, then you probably get a sizable correction back to this previous weekly VWAP. So that's my take on Bitcoin right now. So I'm going to bring in my brethren, crypto guy OTI. Tell us how you're doing, man, and what are you seeing in the charts?
Doing good. Am I sharing my charts here?
Yes, sir. Everybody
Okay,
in the
great.
chat, I'm going to turn up his volume. Let me know in the
Am
chat
I
if
quiet?
he's good.
Gee whiz.
No. But I turned your volume up as much as I could.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I'm using the VWAPs too. We do have, I'm trying to turn myself up a little bit, but I'll just have to speak closely like it's NPR. Good evening. So first I'm looking for a retest to the previous week, which is right now about 113.7 on my chart. But, we're going into a rate cut week, and usually we're low volume hesitant. And I would say the 25 point rate cut, or BPS, that's already priced in. So if we get a 25, I see that as a sell the news event, and then we're right back on schedule, probably flopping around in this range. But I'd be looking to short if it's only a 25. If it's a 50, then we're off to the races early. So my prediction was September's lousy. October, November is a surge upward, just like the last 3 cycle finales. So if we get hit with the 50, big surprise, unlikely, but that would be very bullish. And I'd be going gig along earlier than anticipated. But if it's just a 25 with lukewarm speeches like we normally get from Powell, I would be looking to take advantage of a little sell the news, but it's just temporary. Now, what was that thing you said earlier about Crypto Crow with a huge bearish prediction?
Crypto Crow on Twitter, like tonight, he's hosting a Spaces, and the name of the Spaces is that like he's anticipating a 25% correction after rate cuts. So that's something that people are thinking is the rate cut a sell the news event. So what do you think about that?
25% nowadays? Really? Where would that even put us? Hang on a second.
That's like a full on. That's like a full on dump down to like last year's Q3 VWAP. That's like the doomsday scenario that
that's like
that I
85.
have. I've warned people about it, but also we're still over a lot of important supports.
Okay, for a 25% dump, that takes us to 85K after Jerome Powell says, well, I'm going to lower interest rates by 25 points. And then he shoots himself in the head live on camera. That would give you the 25%. But short of that, that seems like a bit much to me. It's not like how it used to be where you could get huge moves like that for no reason. There's too much money involved now. I don't see BlackRock just selling off like that much. You get a little bit of a correction. Like before we knew we were getting 25 guaranteed, where were we? Like 108 or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see going below even 100K. I would love that to happen because then I get a really nice entry, but that's a little bit doomer even for me.
Yeah, I think it's a little early to get to make a prediction like that, even though I myself have talked about like possibilities of, if certain things turn around. Like I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart right now, and we are at Bitcoin is at resistance. We're right at that Q3 VWAP, probably the VWAP from the high and last month's VWAP. There is a little bit of pinching here on the daily, but it's still a 5-day uptrend, still over like an ascending monthly VWAP. And usually when you get a buzz lightyearing over like all VWAPs like this, usually it does something. You get some follow through. So Ethereum also like we just got like expansion here. Like the candles just started getting crazy to the upside here. So we haven't really seen anything super bearish yet on Ethereum, but it's like, yeah, you could you would expect a healthy retracement like this after rate cuts. Like on Bitcoin, let me show it on Bitcoin. After the rate cut, I could definitely see a medium term pullback back to like the 113Ks, but you're still bullish. You're still bullish down there. You know, like it takes a lot to undo the macro nature, and also rate cuts, you know, rates getting cut makes the environment more bullish. So I mean, I think we need to like open our imaginations a little bit, because we might actually be about to get into like a, you know, like a real alt season / hype phase. I mean, look at ETH BTC. We're looking at Ethereum to Bitcoin here over the monthly VWAP. And I marked a very important anchored VWAP, this big blue one here. Look where we're at on ETH BTC, guys. So a VWAP from ETH BTC's all-time high. We are testing that right now. So while this, you know, this is a resistance, you know, so it's going to take work to get over this very important turning point in the market for Ethereum in relation to Bitcoin. But if you get breakout, retest, like confirmation, like if this can come over like this, it's looking so freaking bullish. Like you probably just keep going until you take these highs back here, and that would put the ETH BTC pairing at like 0.09 to 0.1, which means that the price of ETH doubles in relation to Bitcoin. So whether that is Bitcoin staying the same and ETH just like moon shooting, or if BTC cools substantially and like it is getting like a big correction or something, I'm interested to see how this plays out. But you know, currently on the weekly, we did get some weekly Heiken Ashi slowing and indecision on this pair, but for the time being, we're not seeing follow through off that. It's skirting on top of its 5 MA and ascending, freshly ascending 5 MA. It's over its monthly VWAP, and it's looking okay for now. So,
do you have one set up for Soul BTC? Because Soul's been waking up lately.
Let's take a look at it.
I think Soul's looking a little stronger. Or Soul BTC.
We'll take a look at Soul-ETH as well. But Soul Bitcoin, this is like, man, hindsight 2020, but it is crazy how as soon as Q3 began, look at this transannual leap that we got on Soul. So we pump all the way back to last year's Q3, as soon as this year's Q3 begins. That's a crazy move, man. But just like with ETH, we're at this, like, basically like the final major resistance, you know? So this is basically the point where you either break out, retest the support of this area, or you get that like you get a pullback, you know? So yeah. Take that information with it as you will. I know some of the rate cut hype is already baked in. I think a 25 basis point cut is baked in, like pretty much for sure. But what if it could be a bigger one? I don't know. But
yeah, the question is, do we get one more pullback before the surge or not? Like, did we already hit our bottom, or is the bottom supposed to happen before the end of this month? And I think you get some clarity when he cuts the rates on the 17th. We're 3 days away from really knowing, but right now we're just kind of like, you don't want to go in too deep on any trade until we know what's going to happen here.
Yeah,
at least that's my advice.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. I think that there was some good short trades on Friday, and like, it's very easy to spot. You'll see coins running from their weekly VWAPs going into the weekend, and you'll see the rounded money flow. Like, look on the 1 hour, just on this Soul BTC chart, money flow rounding out, you know, tapering off. Bitcoin, its money flow was pouring out over the weekend, and you're just thinking about that bearish weekly leap move. But you got to get that good like 10-minute entry on it, and then once you take profit on it, it's hard to hop back into it, because now you're in like kind of the middle of the range.
Yeah.
And the best trades back to this correction level are higher up, especially in an ascending 5MA environment. And then on the flip side, the best longs are below. Like if we do come down and just we just get the weekly leap like tomorrow or something, that does kind of scream bullish to me. Like I would think that we would get a fierce reaction there, a bullish reaction there, like in anticipation of rate cut day. Like if that does happen to happen, but I just don't feel strongly enough about that downward move to like take a short at this low that's digging in. Because to me, I'm observing strength on the ascending 5MA.
Yeah, if you're looking for like a local short, it would be around 117.2 for me, because I have 2 points there. You have your liquidity heat map. That's like the last bit of money you could take to the upside, and that's also the very peak of the CME gap that remains uncleared. So if I'm looking to open a short, it would be around 117, 117.2. No long from here, not right now, but I'd be looking for longs around like the low 112s. And none of this even matters, because the next few days is just going to be floppy and gropey until we know what Jerome Powell's going to do for us. So, yeah.
Well, you convinced me to look at the heat map, and what I'm seeing is kind of fitting the narrative of like there's a spot above that we want to go to, as well as a spot below. The heat wave below here lines up perfectly with Bitcoin's bearish weekly leap. So if that move does occur, all these people get stopped out. But then there's also the rate cut, hype, pump and dump type of play. You know what I'm saying? Like up here,
exactly,
taking these highs. So I think that there are some good trades manifesting in the very, very near future, lining up with the rate cuts, lining up with the leapfrog. But today is a day of rest. But yes, we come out with the sauce, because we made a promise, man. I think this is the third week we've done this, man. I always appreciate these streams we do.
Yeah, this is good. Should we go over people's coins and charts?
Sure, man. Shout out to some of you guys in the chat. Miss Jellybean, Miss MJ, Mr. Bearcat, Mr. American Crypto Monsters, Vestige, all set. Love you guys. Hit the like on the stream for these rate cuts. And what were we going to go over, brethren? What were you just saying?
Oh, just let the crowd, shout out their coins, because there's been some interesting action.
Yeah, if you guys want my brother and I to do a coin, just let us know. And in the meantime, I'll just go over some of these. XRP plunging into its 5MA here.
XRP is an interesting one.
It's already had its weekly leap. So we were like on Friday. I didn't trade XRP in particular. I was trading Pepe and ETH and like Bitcoin. But let's examine this XRP. What happened here? Let's see.
Okay, I'll do AVAX after you do XRP. Let me set the chart up while you're talking.
Okay. Yeah, there was like some nice, look at these strong momentum candles that started arriving on Friday, and we were very far from the weekly VWAP on XRP, so it was pretty easy to spot a little short-term correction over the last few days. But the problem is if you think it could go lower, we've already plunged into last week's VWAP on XRP, and we're in a 5-day uptrend. So if I had shorted XRP from the highs, I would have gotten the hell out of that. Solana's been tricky because the price action up here at the top was all over the place, but it also had big 10-minute momentum candles come in, and then it began to dump towards last week's VWAP, but you could see how overperforming Solana is. Look how far away it is from last week's VWAP. It's just crazy. So after the rate cut, I think there might be this move could still happen, but you just want to be very careful about your entry on a type of move like this. We gotta be sweeping the highs, and the sentiment's gotta feel right, and it's gotta be after that rate cut decision on is it Wednesday, or when is I don't know what day the 17th is, but
let me have a look.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Yeah, you don't just blindly trade back towards the last week's VWAP. You got to be smart about your entries and understand the context of every weekly session that you walk into. But love these recommendations in the chat. We've got Silosis right off the bat with AVAX, Doge, and Litecoin. So looking at Litecoin here, identical to XRP from a VWAP standpoint, getting that early weekly leapfrog. It is tough to take these trades, guys, because you know that new weekly session could always come and stop you out. And so taking early leapfrogs, early corrections back to what, in that time, it's just a correction back to the current weekly VWAP. It's not even a leapfrog yet because you're still in that week, but sometimes you do get these early weekend cool offs back to the week to date. Kind of a tricky trade to catch with that 5 MA rising like that. Let's take a look at AVAX.
Got her loaded up.
I'll give AVAX to you, man. Let's yeah.
Okay. Well, AVAX and I used to be old friends, and I had uncleared yellow X's on the 1 minute chart for AVAX going all the way back to December of last year. And I've already cleared out a few of them that were down here that we've just ran right past. But AVAX is looking stronger than expected. I don't know if we got some kind of... Let me just see here. Jeez. Okay, you have upwards targets going 30, 37, 42, 43, 45. But first, let's clear what's near. You're at the macro 382. You're kind of like way up here on the momentum waves. This is the daily, so I'd expect a little bit of a cool off, but overall AVAX is one of the stronger ones. The weekly, you're stabbing upward. There's a lot of room to run for Avalanche, and on the monthly, you got yourself a green dot, nice and round here on the momentum. It feels good. Not that we're gonna hit all-time highs with this coin, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hit upper 30s over the next couple of months, and that's really underselling it. So I'm looking to maybe buy a little bit of AVAX spot and just sitting on it and see what happens, but I'm glad this is back in the runnings and people are talking about AVAX again. Yeah, I'd like to clear up some of these uncleared yellow X's.
Man, that looks promising, man. That looks I like what you showed us there. Got a question in the chat. American Crypto Monster asks, if I wanted to get into crypto, what would be a careful suggestion? That's kind of a broad question, but if you're talking about what to invest in, I think Ethereum and Solana are like two main trades that are quite promising in like a rate cut environment, like the end of a bull run. Ethereum in particular, with its ETFs, it has that institutional backing. It's a very strong pick right now, I think. And if you want to go further down the risk curve, feel free. A lot of these people in the chat, a lot of my people are absolute crypto monkeys, man. So that makes me want to do Doge. My guy wanted me to look at Doge real quick.
Okay, and then I'll add to the question for American Crypto Monster after that.
Well, what do you have to say?
All right, well, if I wanted to get into crypto, what would be a careful suggestion? that tells me you're not already into crypto. You're new to this. Maybe you got some stocks. Maybe you got a 401k sitting somewhere, and you got a day job that takes up most of your energy. Not to say that the only safe option in crypto really is Bitcoin. So, I mean, I'd be adding to that while you can. I mean, I know it's it's really expensive. It's scary. Just buy little fractions of it at a time. When you get your refund check come tax time, that's in April. That's going to be the market low. Throw it at Bitcoin, sit on it until the next year. That's what I've been doing, and it paid for my place. So, yeah, Solana and Ethereum have the gains are potentially higher, but everything bleeds against Bitcoin the longer the time frame. So if you're looking to make a quick buck, Bitcoin's not for you. But if you're looking to make a sound investment in this space, Bitcoin is the only one. Everything else is hoping. They're software companies with a plan. Bitcoin is the only one that cannot be screwed up by a CEO somewhere. It's not a building filled with people. So that would be my advice if the most careful suggestion is Bitcoin.
My brother brings up an amazing point, which is that over the years, altcoins are dying against Bitcoin. The case, though, for the main alts like Ethereum and Solana being bullish in a rate cut environment is like we're in that last year of the 4-year cycle, and the macro environment is about to get more favorable for assets further along the risk curve. So the time, it historically has not been wise to lead people into altcoins. But that could change. It's just you have to take that risk. What is that risk worth to you? And that's a personal decision. So,
and honestly,
yeah.
if you pick any of the large cap alts over like this month, you likely see historic gains over the next 2 months. Just get out before December's over. But we'll be charting it then, and could be different this time. But you can make some quick money over the next couple of months. But then after that, I think everything bleeds against Bitcoin again, like it always does.
Yeah.
Until proven wrong.
Any new quarter is like a major threat to any altcoin narrative. The Bitcoin narrative transcends years, potentially decades, if we're lucky. But altcoin narratives like rise and fall in 3-month spans. That's what people misunderstand about them. But shout out to Alex O in the chat, our brother in Christ. Thanks for popping in, man. Everybody go follow Alex O if you haven't, and also like this stream as well. And you could go follow my brother Crypto Guy on the internet as well. He's got a nice growing channel. And let's continue with the Doge analysis. So Doge, another crypto that's in a strong 5-day uptrend here. Yes, it's facing a bearish weekly leap, but the absolute best trades back to this coveted high volume region down here are going to be higher. So personally, unless you're already in some stuff from the high and you saw how far we had ran from the weekly VWAP going into the weekend, we were about 14-15% away. This move could still happen, but in my opinion, it's a little bit risky to trade the second half of that idea. You either catch it or you don't. You get into this early and you take your profits early and you let the rest play out. That's kind of where I'm at, because when the rate cuts come, this could be sweeping some highs, and then you get a much better short entry, if there's going to be one, if you even want to short in such a strong 5-day uptrend. So right now the markets are anticipating a rate cut, which is bullish for risk on assets. So I think we just want to play the narrative, let the narrative unfold. We have a rare moment in the charts where it's kind of just scripted. So if you guys break the script, you're going to lose money. And with that, we'll continue with our analysis. And Wizzle wants us to look at Soul-ETH. This is a very important chart. And what it shows is, oh man, okay. Well, what I see here is this is bullish to me overall. So there could be like a move all the way up to this previous Q3 VWAP right here before we even see like a major correction. This momentum, while it is already overextended and overbought, this is like runaway train mode on the daily with money flow just piling back in here. So let's look at the weekly. Look at the weekly Heikin-Ashi, guys, on this pair is picking up here. On the medium term, there is a little bit of a, there's a little bit of wiggle room. We got that previous week to date VWAP down here, but you're still in an ascending 5-day trend. If you get that move, it could be a nice bottom, potentially, hopefully. It could go a little bit deeper. It could go down to the Q3, retest that, and then pump up. But it's quite bullish, man. What do you think about Soul-ETH? I don't think Soul should pump harder than ETH. It doesn't have the ETFs. But I've always underestimated Soul, so like I'm not the best. I should probably believe in Soul more. You know what I'm saying? Like historically, I've been an ETH tard when I am an altcoin guy. But what's your take, brethren, on this Soul-ETH chart?
I've always had both of my wallets, so I'll play both teams. And it wasn't that long ago when we were saying, hey, it's all ETH, nobody cares about Soul, and we're looking at the chart going, who cares about this coin? When is the narrative going to shift? Well, it already did. So Soul took off when everybody else was sleeping. And now I'm looking at the Soul-ETH chart. And, okay, on the daily, you're topping out, you got a red dot, but we're way up here. We're in moon territory, nice and round money flow going into the green. You might get a little retest, but this looks like further upside unless you bump your head on this undercarriage here. So your resistance is coming up early, pretty soon here, the 5.7 or so, 5.7-ish. That's like your first chance at getting rejected. But yeah, I think Solana's here to stay, at least for a little while longer. I don't see why it would fail. Certainly gaining a lot of steam right now, but like I want to short this. I really want to short this. But it's too scary. It's like stepping in front of a train. You have uncleared X's going all the way up to 280. And I don't see why you can't go far beyond 300 by the end of this finale. So Solana looks strong to me.
Yeah, it's like that next, it is what it is. It's that next level down the risk curve from ETH, and I think it's playing by the script. So this chart looks promising, man. We're seeing green Heikin-Ashis. I'm not seeing super bearishness yet. So far, this month's been great for price. The last 2 months have been great for this pair. And we had just reclaimed the quarterly VWAP. So you can't say that Soul-ETH is performing bad for the quarter. It's now performing well for the quarter. And it does seem well on its track to retest the sentiment, the volume weighted sentiment from last summer. I mean, this whole resistance blob up here of VWAPs, I feel like that's where we're going, man. I feel like it's just in the cards, but timing it can be tricky, like especially if you're leveraged. So if you're leveraged, you pray for the types of pullbacks that we talk about on a week-to-week basis. These plunges back to last week's VWAP, much better value down there if you're bullish on this pair.
Okay, now this fella's been asking for Rose. I will do Rose real fast.
Okay.
All right. You got my chart on the screen?
I do.
Okay. I would rather buy and invest in toilet paper than this coin. I don't know if maybe they got some secret special thing that's going to happen. Maybe this is your company. But if you're not directly tied to this company, get out. Like there's way better places to put your money right now. Yeah, I don't. Maybe you get some help here, a little bit to the upside, but you're still. I mean, this looks like RST. Like right now, you do not have to deal with shitter coins. Like there are clearly better options. And that's my rose. The rose is, it's all thorns at this point. I'm sorry, my friend.
Yeah, just wait for a DBSI uptrend at least, man. There's so many great investments right now, and major alt season hasn't even really begun, right? So like, why would you be this far off in La La Land on the risk curve when like Ethereum and Solana are probably going to giga pump first, you know? So
I'm looking at this chart, and the strategy is hope, and I don't like that. That's not a strategy. Like, you hope for another random stab, but I don't trade like that. So just put your money in something that's, I would say, maybe a larger cap or something, or maybe a little later, when you can just go hog wild on the very end of the risk curve, like Flopping Groper said. But for right now, don't even sweat this kind of stuff. You see a chart like this, don't even bother.
We got a nice question from Bearcat asking me how to do alerts on Leapfrog. So the best alerts are like a crossing alert for the Leapfrog. So you just right click the indicator and you go to alert, and you want to create, let's see, it is a crossing condition when the price crosses. Let me do it first and then I'll explain it. But when the price is crossing the Leapfrog previous week to date on the 10-minute chart, or you could choose whatever chart you want, boom, I'll make an alert for that. So this is how you set it up. Is it's going to be a price condition, because what the price is doing is what's going to trigger the alert. But you just want to set this so that when the price is crossing the Leapfrog previous week to date, or whatever VWAP you want to get an alert on, then you will get that alert. And this will help, like, let's say you're in a big Leapfrog trade or something, you're hoping Pepe hits the previous week to date. Look what Pepe did. Pepe came down and hit that previous week to date right there. So you would have gotten an alert that the week to date Leapfrog move had occurred on Pepe. So that's really, I mean, you could do it on the daily VWAPs as well. Let's say you want to put an alert on if the price loses the daily VWAPs. So you could kind of get an alert over a potential breakout to the up or downside of the daily VWAPs if you're scoping out one of those kind of moves. So that's it, man. I'd say I don't use alerts too much, but I probably should use them more. But the crossing alert is probably my favorite alert.
I use the crossing all the time for us, especially for a price to the upside or the downside.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a specific number I have in mind, yeah. Oh, and this guy's asking, can you set up alerts like that for Market Cipher, for bull divs, money flows, cross and high? Not for divs, as far as I know. You can set it up for dots, like green or red dots.
You don't want to use a div tracker because divergence is somewhat of a subjective skill that, like, I've never seen a divergence tracker catch all of the divergence I'm seeing on Market Cipher. It'll catch like major ones or some of them, but divergence is something that can go across many waves over a long period of time. It's something that you need to train your eye to look for. In terms of Market Cipher alerts, though, if I go into Market Cipher and I add an alert, you could do a Market Cipher. Let's see. These are good ones here. The crossing ups of the blue waves on a big time frame, like a blue wave crossing up on the daily. You know, it would have given you. It sounds so basic, right? I mean, I'm giving you like the most basic, but sometimes the most basic alerts are the best. Like, look at this Pepe spot. If you had just like longed this momentum green dot on the daily, it just got you into that huge Pepe pump.
Yeah, VWAP crossing 0. I use that sometimes on higher time frames, and I got that from you.
Yeah. I mean, all these oscillators are amazing. But it's the problem is most people have is their trade size doesn't account for like a loss. So like if this thing were to turn around and create, you know, God forbid it's something like this back here, you know, then your money management is really being put to the test. But any strategy will do that. Any strategy will put your money management to the test, and you shouldn't be so quick to throw an indicator or a strategy in the garbage bin before you've like done an honest review of like your trade size. Like most, like 20% of the entire account is like high risk. Like according to there's a logic for gambling and sizing with gambling. It's called Kelly criteria, and like the most aggressive that the Kelly criteria even recommends is like 20% of your account. So if you do half Kelly, that's 10%. That smooths out your results across many accounts from like loss streaks, but it still opens up the possibility of the account eventually getting bombed, or like getting bombed early on before you can pick up steam, you know? So, you know, you could do a quarter Kelly and do like 5% of the account going into singular trades. Or if you're like managing, if you're a fund manager, or if God forbid I ever did a copy trading group like Crypto Face, like I would have to be doing way below Kelly. I'd be doing like 2.5% going into entire trades, you know, where it's like I'm in no rush to like make you people happy at all, but that's what responsible risk managers do. So it, you know, going over 20% of your account is you're opening up moments like this in time to destroy you, you know, and those moments come no matter what indicator you're using. If you you know, let the strategy breathe, a lot of these moves do play out, you know. So an alert, a simple alert on that green dot would have done you good. Let's get back into the chart recommendations here. MJ says she's an ETH-tard. Me too. Me too. I'm such an ETH-tard.
Kita. I haven't heard of Kita coin. So I don't.
What's the ticker?
KTA. What is this little guy? All right,
It's a Mexi. It's a Mexi coin. Am I looking at the right chart? Let me see what you're looking at.
Is this right?
You're looking at the 6 hour.
I mean, it's the right coin. Yeah, KTA USD. I think it is. Okay. I don't know what this coin does, so I can't tell you what the story is behind this, but this seems okay. You're just kind of coiling up, tightening, waiting for the next move. If you get a nice green dot here, you might flip this. Your RSI is starting to pull up on the 4 hour. We can slap some VWAPs on it, see if we got a better story.
I don't know, man. Screw this coin. I looked up like 3 charts of it and they all look different.
Right, yeah, like that's another problem. I don't know where he's trading it. If you have low liquidity like that, you can just get randomly rugged.
I mean, look, it's on my brother's chart here. It is looking like it's got a little trigger wave forming on that freshly turned green DBSI. So, yeah, you could have something there. Let's take a look at the
one you're trading. Yeah,
we're moving on quick. We're moving on quick from that one. Let's look at IOTA.
You want me to do IOTA, or are you doing that?
I'll hit this one. It looks like it's once like all the other cryptos plunging into the rising 5MA after getting an early weekly leap. It's already plunged into that good value over the month to date. It's actually looking pretty bullish going into rate cuts. So, but this is in the same way Litecoin and XRP are as well, you know. So depends if you want to get grimy, get down in the mud with these mega shit coins. But this is a strong hidden bull div. Look Look at how far that momentum has come down despite the price holding nice strong levels over the monthly VWAP. Nice 5-day uptrend, and oftentimes plunging into an ascending 5-day MA is a good opportunity. But it'll take some monitoring in the next 24 hours. Ideally, if this does what it's supposed to, it does bottom out here after this little SFP bottom. And we don't need to go to the month to date. We just go up. Ideally, it gets a daily leapfrog. Look, it's pumping up to yesterday's VWAP, retesting the 5 MA as a resistance, but we'll see if the volume comes in and this 15-minute money flow looks rounded out to me. Looks like something might be getting started here on IOTA. Justin X Crypto is wants us to look at Caspa. You want to take Caspa?
Yeah, let me I don't even have that on here. Let me make a Caspa. MEXC probably?
Yeah, so get that cooking, and real quick I'm gonna look at Tron. So Tron's price action just amazes me non-stop. I'm always just blown away by what this coin does, and for that reason I don't trade it, because it just blows my mind, man. It's like I'm a little krill shrimp and it's like a big whale swims past you and your reality is blown away. But I mean, look at this dump, man. This is crazy what happened here on Tron. Just this sharp dump, death wick down to the Q2, and then it immediately gets bought back up. You're not even given a day to get into this thing before it just defies that 5-day downtrend and just forms this new uptrend. And now it's looking, it's in a very bullish posture, anticipating rate cuts, and it's just still
wonder what caused that big stab down. That's weird.
Well, this is just Tron's price action. Like, if you look at Tron, how it moves, this is a big reason why I don't trade it. Because whatever direction it goes, it really goes, and it really screws you, and then reverses like 50% immediately. So
that's why I stopped trading Turbo, was I was getting randomly stabbed in one direction.
Yeah, and then it reverses on you. Yeah, it's like, it's stink bid. This is what you probably want to do on Tron is pick some direction way far away from price. Just have an order floating off in the nether regions of the chart, and it'll probably pick up your trade and like reverse back to where it was yesterday. But yeah, it's just looking really bullish. Like, it's chopping up to take these highs, and a big correction like this is definitely warranted after coming up to the golden retracement. It had a golden retracement short, but ultimately I think it's shooting for that 786 and probably a new all-time high. And then the other China coin, the Sandworm, also looking just insanely bullish. Shorting this thing gets you wrecked, man. It's like all-time high, all-time high, all-time high. Binance coin's like always been a strong pick, but yeah,
like
man,
the way
I'm
they operate.
bullish on that too, man. Bullish on that too. Runaway train on the weekly. This momentum on the weekly on BNB would have to lose the 60 line before I stopped thinking like this thing could keep pumping.
BNB coin is a direct reflection of how crypto sentiment overall is. It's like if you want to list your coin on Binance, you have to buy BNB token. And so if there's a lot of action, BNB just goes up no matter what's popular. But if everyone's leaving crypto, then BNB just dumps guaranteed. But yeah, that's the coin that no one really talks about. That's always there, and it's strong.
Same with Tron. Yeah. It's the China factor, you know. Yeah, so two very good recommendations there. Silosis. Shout out to Silosis in the chat.
So I'm looking at Caspa here, and I wonder, let's see here. Do you have me on the screen real quick?
I do.
Okay, because I have a huge delay. I can't even tell what's going on with the stream. All right, so um, I've never been excited about this coin, but I wonder if you actually get a real breakout out of this at some point. I'd like it to retest the macro 382. That's about 11 cents. If you can flip that as support, then I'd feel much better about it. But this is kind of a coin that I think it's past its prime, and it would take a lot to prove otherwise to me.
That is a strong DBSI downtrend there on the daily. That's the downsloped red DBSI environment. But you know, it's forming higher lows. The money flow, the dips in money flow seem to be reducing. And it is showing some signs that if it can repair its DBSI trend here on the daily, then then you start looking for longs, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got for Caspa. Nothing really sticks out to me, but
Okay.
you're kind of right at an inflection point. You have to break through this downtrend you've had since what the hell, July of last year. So good luck.
Someone wants me to look at Turbo, which is just like an old meme coin at this point.
Yeah, old friend and enemy of mine, that coin.
I never messed around with Turbo, but I remember last year it was very hot. But
yeah,
actually, it's weekly printed bullish indecision, and then now looks like it could be trying to come back. Potentially a trigger wave here on the weekly. But it is at a major resistance here on the daily. When I zoom into smaller time frames, looks like we got that early weekly leap. It did find some support on a important anchored VWAP, and it's still in an ascending 5-day trend. So yeah, it's cooled off a bit, but it's right there in tandem with other cryptos. Still on a 5-day trend. Some more damage would have to be done for faith to be lost. There's still hope. And MJ wants us to look at Aerodrome. Aerodrome, very similar. My job today is very easy today.
Yeah, a lot of the same.
Crypto's just plunging into rising 5MAs, getting weekly leapfrogs and anticipating bullish rate cut hype, froth, FOMO, pump and dump hype potentially. Once the major highs here are taken, or whatever high these shitcoins want to take, there might be a dump back down to this VWAP in the next week or so. But yeah. Shout out to
if Aerodrome. If
sorry.
Aerodrome gets a bounce, I'm looking for the macro 618 at about 155. That would probably be my take profit. If I entered along after we get some clarity on those rate cuts, I'd start taking profit around 155 for Aerodrome. Yeah, right around here. But there's, you know, we got to wait and see. A lot of these are wait and see type scenarios, but that's what I'd be looking for. Aerodrome's a new kid on the block. People are starting to talk about it now. Just the fact that you're asking about it that's good. Now, I don't really know a whole lot about that coin. I know they're involved with Coinbase. Are they like an exchange token of some kind? Someone's going to have to educate me on this one.
Personally, I'm not sure. So we're not the best to ask about all of these
There's just
altcoin projects.
Too many coins, bro. I know. Everybody's got a dream to sell.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty much all that we're gonna wrap it up here, folks, because it's going on a little long. But in closing, brethren, anything you want to say, any sage advice going into these rate cuts on the 17th?
Sage advice, what, in general or related to the rate cuts?
Related to the rate cuts.
Related to the rate cuts, hold on to your butts. We are still on track for the 4-year cycle finale. Now, September is supposed to be bad. It really hasn't been bad. So we still have 2 more weeks of potential, oh no! But then October, November, that's when you just hold your long in something respectable, and it should pay off handsomely. Just review the finales of the last cycles. We're about to enter the best time in crypto. So don't go too deep right now, because it's like the last shakeout, if it happens, is soon, like the next 2 weeks. So just stay cool and wait for the green light, which is coming soon.
I love that message of hope and excitement, because I think that's the type of energy that we should mirror going into these rate cuts. I think that the market is just going to go haywire, and make sure that you're risking accordingly. Like I said, guys, I gave you guys that advice about sizing. Look up Kelly criteria. Use ChatGPT if you need to calculate how much you should be risking in your trades, because I want you to trade safe. I want us to be able to have these conversations next year when there's all new leapfrog opportunities, all new cryptos, all new everything. Make sure your capital is being protected regardless of what you think. So God bless you guys. It was a tough week, but we got through it. Good luck, and we'll talk to you guys. I'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday in my midweek update.